Okay, now we're going to talk about multi-threading check table operations, because we've seen that we can multi-thread and process multiple databases at once, but within a database you can also process multiple tables. Now I am going to set this to an individual database, so let's go ahead and do just the Minion database, which means we'll need this to go back down to threads 1, right? Now, the key here, the easiest way to do this is in the CheckDBMaster SP, just pass in DBInternalThreads equals 4. So we're clearly going to run 4 tables at once now. And the mechanism for this is the exact same as for CheckDB. So let's go ahead and run this. Oh, sorry. I set this to CheckDB instead of CheckTable. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. There we go. Now we monitor it the exact same way we did for the multi-threaded CheckDBs. Now you can see I'm running CheckTable and I've got my threads spinning up right now. So now I'm running 4 of them. You can see I'll even get my % complete on the bigger tables, but keep an eye on the ID here and watch how fast it goes through. We're at 526, we're at 562, we're at 573, 590, 601, and all of these are really small tables, so we don't have time to get the % complete on them, but we will hit 1 or 2 tables in here that are big enough that we can see it. We're at 622 now, 638, and we're still working on 601, so job status roll up. Okay, let's see where we are. We're at 563. There we go. And now we have it complete. So you can see we processed 4 tables at a time and got this done relatively quickly. Let's see how long it took. Took about 48 seconds to get through all of those tables. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do that, is to pass in the DBInternalThreads and then the number of tables that you want to process at once. But that's not really good enough, because that's an override. That's a manual override. But all tables, all databases aren't going to be the same. You're not going to want to run every single database with 4 threads, and you're certainly not going to want to run every single database with 4 threads all the time, even in the same run. If you're multi-threading databases, then you're going to want to customize this for each one. And that's where the CheckDB settings table comes in. So here I've got the check table row for Minion, and you can see Minion default. Let's get all the way over here. I have my internal threads column right here, and Minion default is set for 1, which means every database, when it runs a check table, is going to run it serially 1 table at a time, except for Minion, I want to run it 2 tables at a time, except here I want to run it 4 at a time, right? So we can also override another row. Let's go ahead and just, if I can get this over here. There we go. Let's go ahead and just copy the Minion check table row, and we'll paste it down here, and let's change it to, oh, I don't know, Minion restore has 1. There we go. And then when I come in here, I can change this guy. Instead of 4, maybe I want 6 threads running at once for that, right? And don't forget, we have to have one of these for each one. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this CheckDB row as well. Yep. There we go. So now I have a check table and a CheckDB row for Minion Restore. But for the check table row, I am passing in 6 threads instead of 4 threads that I'm using here. And in order to take advantage of that, just don't use the parameter, and it'll use the table value instead. So this is going to help you with your mass runs. You can run several databases at a time, several tables at a time, and it will just fan out. And these actually dovetail into each other perfectly because I can run several of these tables at once. I can run 4 databases at once, and I can do the check tables based off of some of them being multi-threaded and some of them being single-threaded, and I have full control over that. And that is how you multi-thread check table.